Assalamu alaikum everyone. Inter-Board Committee of Chairmen, which we commonly know as IBCC. They come up with another formula and another criteria for equivalence for students of IGCSE/O level and A level. This new formula is very interesting and it's simple. It makes things very simple. Before we talk about the new formula, let me give you a briefing what was the previous criteria of equivalence which was used for converting the grades of IGCSE, O level and A level students into the marks for metric and FSC. So previously, most of you probably may be aware, 8 subjects of O level were considered for equivalence, including 5 compulsory subjects. 5 compulsory subjects were mathematics, English language, Urdu A or Urdu B, Pakistan studies and Islamiyat. And there were 3 electives. And electives were dependent on the type of program you wanted to join after A level. If you wanted to be a medical student, you should have chosen physics, chemistry and bio at O level. And if you wanted to be an engineer, you probably could have chosen either bio or computing, of course, in addition to physics and chemistry. And for arts combination, the option of 3 elective were a number of subjects. You could have chosen 3 from those a long list of electives art subjects: economics, accounting, business, commerce, global perspective, or any other combination of 3 subjects. So that was for O level. For A level, the 3 subjects. For medical, it was physics, chemistry, bio. For computer science, it was physics, mathematics and computer. For engineering, it was math, physics and chemistry. And for, of course, other fields, accounting, there was no requirement as such for any particular subject, but it was required for every A level student to do at least 3 A level. So for converting the marks for FSC, the IBCC was using 8 subjects of O level and 3 subjects of A level, 11 subjects in total. And for medical colleges, the formula was 50% MDCAT score, which was an entrance test for medical test, and 50% was allocated for metric and FSC. Out of those 50% marks, 10% marks were for metric and 40% were for FSC. And for O and A level students, the formula was a little tricky. I will not go into the detail. You may look at my other videos for that detail. But just to give you a briefing of the older formula, for O level students and for A level students, around 39% of those marks were for O level grades and around 11% of those marks for A level grades. It was because when they were considering FSC marks, the FSC marks were not considered to be equal to A level marks, because A level you only get to study 3 subjects. In FSC, students study multiple subjects including Urdu, Pak studies, Islamiyat, which A level students do not study. So to bring them at par, IBCC used to consider the O level subjects as well whenever they wanted to convert the A level marks into FSC marks. So FSC was equal to 8 subjects of O level and 3 subjects of A level. So this is very complicated. Now, to make things easier and less complicated, IBCC has recently changed the equivalence criteria for new criteria. Total of 8 subjects instead of 11. Previously, there were 11 subjects. 8 O level, 3 A level. Now, only 8 subjects will be considered for equivalence. And those 8 subjects are 5 O level subjects and 3 A level subjects. 5 O level subjects will remain those 5 subjects which are compulsory, which are mathematics, Urdu A or Urdu B, English, Pak studies and Islamiyat. So these 5 subjects are O level will be considered for equivalence. So please note that your grades of these 5 subjects will be counted when equivalence will be calculated. However, your grades in 3 electives, they could be physics, chemistry, bio, they could be economics, accounting, commerce, they could be physics, chemistry and computer science. Those 3 grades will be ignored when the equivalence will be determined. The other 3 subjects, out of their total 8 subjects, 5 are of O level. I just told you they are 5 compulsory subjects. 3 A level subjects which will be considered will be your elective 3 A level subjects. So 5 O level plus 3 A level. Older formula, 8 O level, 3 A level. New formula, 5 O level and 3 A level. Now, that will be 800 marks, and of course, the average will be taken and your marks will be converted into a 1100 score. That does not mean that students need to pass only 5 subjects of O level. Students still need to study the same number of subjects, which is 8. They still need to study the same number of subjects at A level, that is 3. The other restrictions almost apply similarly. There is a change that I'll come to that point later of my discussion. The number of subjects an O-level candidate or IGCSE candidate needs to pass is still 8. And number of subjects an A-level candidate needs to pass still 3. However, for equivalence, only 5 grades of 5 compulsory subjects and 3 elective subjects will be considered. Another flexibility which IBCC is going to announce, and it is not only announced for the students of IGCSE O-level and A-level, it is also announced for the students of Matric and FSC. The government is encouraging education in sciences. So students who are doing sciences, those students who are doing arts in Matric, but at a later stage they change their mind and they want to go to the sciences field. Previously the doors were closed. If you do Matric in arts, you cannot or you were not allowed to study science subjects at FSC. But now it is being allowed. The notification is yet to come, or I probably have not seen the notification yet, but it is a decision that has been made by IBCC that those students who do Matric, but they do choose arts subjects, they can switch to sciences in FSC. Similarly, IGCSE students and O-level students will also be allowed. So if you do not do 3 sciences at O-level, physics, chemistry, bio, you don't study them. But if you choose to study them at A-level, you can still qualify. You can still qualify for admission in science colleges like medical and engineering colleges. However, please wait for the notification before you make any decision. The notification of new criteria of equivalence is available. We can share it alongside this video. You'll find the notification. Please note that this notification, that equivalence criteria will now base the grades, or will now consider the grades of only 8 subjects, including 5 compulsory subjects of O-level and 3 electives of A-level, is applicable to students who are completing their IGCSE O-level in June 2026 examination. Those who have completed their IGCSE O-level earlier, they will be treated as per the older criteria, which was 8 subjects of O-level and 3 of A-level. But from June 2026, this new formula will be applicable. Those who have taken some of their subjects earlier and some of the subjects they are taking in June 2026, for them the new formula will be applicable. If you have any questions, post them here. We'll love to answer. Thank you very much.